Welcome to the second episode of our podcast, Chocolate and Spice Two Brown Women Talk. Hi, I'm Neha, the older, quieter sister.
Hey, I'm Nidhi, the younger and the chattier one. And today we plan to cover our eating styles, exercise practices, health fads, health monitoring, health issues, and our growth along the way. And this episode, we are calling it Healthcare Intense versus a Casual Approach.
Guess whose approach is intense, by the way? All right, quick note before we dive in. We are no doctors, nutritionists, or fitness experts. Everything we're talking about today is just our own experiences, what's worked for us, what hasn't, and how our health journeys have evolved. So please take what resonates and always check with your own health provider before trying anything new.
Yeah, exactly. We are just two sisters, and as you've seen, we are very different with our body types, lifestyle, experiences. And we are here just to share a very personal, very real story about our health and hope it sparks some thoughts or conversations with you. So that is our goal with this podcast in this episode.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. What kind of eaters do you remember we were growing up?
All I remember is I always loved food. I was not a picky eater. I mean, I think you would agree that I was never a picky eater. I would eat anything growing up, and throughout my teenage years, I think it evolved and changed, especially during the college time when we started eating out a lot. And that's when I realized that processed food is not great, soda is not great, chips is not great. So I tried to make as much of a educated decision as I could.
Totally. Yeah. I wouldn't call myself a picky eater. I think what I was I couldn't eat a lot. I've always eaten very small portion size, and I think it like really scared mommy when I wouldn't eat a lot. And what maybe you don't know because you might have been much younger at that time was when I turned about 14, I got really interested in fitness and nutrition. And for those who don't know, our father is a doctor, and he used to have this library full of really thick, big tomes and medical encyclopedias. And I remember going through that library and picking out a big nutrition book. And remember, those were the days 30 years back. No Dr. Google, no social media, no way for a 14-year-old to get any information, if they wanted. And so I picked that thick book and then I combed through it and then I took notes and like whatever my understanding of nutrition was. I actually already knew about carbs, proteins, fiber, calorie back then. And the other thing that I was interested in was exercise. In my teen years, I was pretty thin. And the general consensus at that time was if you're thin, you shouldn't exercise because you're going to get weaker. So there was not a lot of encouragement from our parents for me to exercise, but I had decided I was going to exercise. And so I used to wake up before anybody else would wake up in the house. I'd wake up at 5 or 5:30 and just do whatever my understanding of exercise was. And so I was a kind of a rebel that way. I figured my own way of eating. I never was interested in ice cream or chips or soda, even though it was so cool to get a can of Coca Cola or Pepsi at that time. Never, ever did it occur to me that I should go and try that. I had a bad sweet tooth, and that was my biggest vice. And it took me a while to recognize that. Like, I thought I was doing everything right, not eating processed, exercising, eating small portion sizes, but I would eat a lot of sweets. And that was much later in my life, that was something I recognized as a great idea. Do you carry any childhood food rules or habits?
I remember Ma told me long time back that you should always start your day with lukewarm water and lemon. I don't know why that stuck. And even till this day, like every single day, I start my day with like a big cup of water with lemon in it. And that has been since so many years. And then Papa used to tell us to eat dry fruit. You remember his
Yeah.
obsession with like dry fruits and almonds and walnuts, and he would tell us eat a handful of them every day. And somehow I still do it every single day. It's like I don't know, but I still do it, and it feels good. It's a great snack too. But that
Great
has stuck
snack.
with me. Yeah. What about
Yeah,
you?
that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, I think both lemon water and almond for those who can take it. I think that's great. For me, this is somewhere where I just listen to my heart. Like I will not follow anyone's rule, no matter whose it is, and I just take what I think is right for me. So I remember mommy telling me to drink lemon water, and I've tried it at different points in my life. It never works for me. And so I like empty stomach lemon water doesn't work for me. And so I just don't do it. Tea is something that never interested me, even though most Indian households will have a lot of tea making. I just never drank tea. I still don't drink tea, but I do drink like, sometimes ginger turmeric kind of tea, but not like real tea leaves in it. I don't remember carrying any food rules into my life right now. I do eat almonds. So that I love.
I was attracted towards it. I started drinking tea. I don't drink coffee, that's too much caffeine for me. But I also like after my lukewarm water, teas, 1 cup of tea is what I drink. But throughout the day, I drink like, I joke that I drink like 100 cups of green tea or herbal tea. That's throughout my meetings, whenever I'm sitting. It's like lots of tea to keep me going.
Secret to your glowing skin, I'm sure.
Well, I'm very well hydrated and I pee a lot. So
This is really great. And how have your eating habits changed over the years?
one thing that I've noticed is like my metabolism has changed a lot. Like in my early, like in my teenage days, I could eat anything and get away with it. Same throughout my early 20s. I would drink alcohol, I would eat a lot of food, and I would still be like lean and, not put on weight. But as I started, going towards my late 20s, that's when I started feeling that I need to make a change. That is where the fat started sticking, as to say. So that's when I realized that I need to make a change in my nutrition, in the way I work out, to be able to do everything I love. So basically, just how my nutrition has evolved is like I don't need too much food now. So I'm very mindful of what I put into my body. What about you?
Yeah, I think this is where our differences will become even more stark. I made a decision very early in my life, like again in my teens, that I wasn't going to try alcohol, and I never tried alcohol. So I just don't drink alcohol. And like I mentioned, never tried tea. But I did start coffee, I think a year or so back. So I have like one black coffee a day, and I seem to enjoy it. So as long as I'm going to enjoy it and my body tolerates, I think it's something I'll do. As for food, like I said, I cannot go to buffets and eat a lot. I remember that was a sore point between my husband and I. Like we'd go to buffets, and from his point of view, it's a waste of money because I would just go to a buffet and eat a very small portion size because I just never can. And I sometimes wonder, like, I've been thin most of my life, and it could be because my body just cannot handle large portion sizes, and I tend to eat really small portion size. Anyway, that is just my wild guess of how it might have influenced me. But I will say my eating habits have changed tremendously over the years, and it's based on the stage of my life. So, for example, I got pregnant in my mid 20s, and even though I was, like I said, very thin and I was so young, I ended up getting gestational diabetes. And I remember my doctor was so shocked as well because it was unexpected. And my entire family was shocked because nobody had heard about it. And it was a scary time. And that's the first time I realized eating sweets and sugary stuff is probably not a great idea. And that was the first time I took a pause and I recognized, this is something I need to change for myself. It's very hard because, I really love my sweets. I really love things that are chocolatey. And so to be able to change that mindset took me years and years. And now, of course, the big thing for me is perimenopause. I am 44. I'm closer to perimenopause than not. And so I'm trying to keep myself educated on what things I need, make my bones stronger because I'm small boned, build muscles, and whatever else I need to do. I will say though, like I'm very grateful for it that I am the happiest I have been ever with myself and my health right now than any other time I remember. So I feel like, that's something that I couldn't have said even a few years back. And so I'm just like super grateful that things seem to be okay for me right now. Um, but anyway, enough about me. What's your typical day of eating right now? Like, what do you eat in a typical day?
Yeah, I mean, I think we established the fact that I used to love to eat and I was the buffet queen. Like you have seen, like we have gone to buffets together and you would always ask me, like, how do you do it? I would start with the appetizer, go to all the different main courses, and then end with dessert. And I would like Giaji, that your husband, like would would comment that she makes it worth worth all the cost that we all the money we spend on this buffet, because she would eat through and through. But that was when I was in my late 20s and I could still do it. But in my 30s, things change. And then before I had Vikram, my son who is 6 years old, I was really into meal prepping. And even during the early days when he was baby, meal prepping helped a lot because that would help me keep organized. But then that was too much. Like over the weekend I would spend like so much time meal prepping, and I just got bored of doing it. So now I get HelloFresh, and HelloFresh is kind of a food delivery service that will give you ingredients to cook the food. They won't give you cooked food, but they'll give you everything to create like a different cuisine or different kind of a food. So that really helps me keep on track on eating different kinds of food every single night. I do prep a little bit for my lunch, but my goal these days is to eat 30 grams of protein for my breakfast. And then for lunch, I try to eat like a high protein lunch, which is either a chicken salad or a sandwich. And then for snack, I eat like dry fruits, or I eat like half an apple with some peanut butter, because I need to have like a mix of sugar and protein. And then for dinner again, for HelloFresh, that's a dinner, and I try to go in with a high protein dinner, which has a good mix of vegetables and meats. And this routine has been going on for a couple of years now, and I feel good internally. So yeah, that
Yeah,
helps.
yeah. No, and you have a little kid. You need a lot of energy, right? You have to keep going the whole day. For me, I have the luxury of time since my son is in college now. And the way it's influenced me is that I prepare very simple meals. Like when he was around, I used to, prepare more elaborate meals. And he was, he used to really enjoy it. So I used to do it. And now I realize what works for me is just very simple, as minimally processed as possible. So in a typical day, and I'm very fixed. I don't change a lot. So in a typical day, I will have a really good breakfast, and that breakfast will have to have protein, will have to have vegetables, and will have to have rice. I typically don't eat bread or gluten based things because they don't work too well with my gut. So rice is my preferred starch. And then mid morning I'll have a black coffee with some dates and nuts. And then my dinner is super early. I pretty much make more elaborate meals than breakfast, but it will have some protein, veggies, and again, some sort of carb. And I do have, something before sleeping, and that's usually some dark chocolate and nuts because I don't know, it makes me happy. So I still have it. So yeah, very simple lifestyle in terms of food. I really like it. I feel much better. And also, we don't eat out. Both my husband and I are don't like to eat out much. I think my husband does, but he, he's
You and
trying
me
to, you know,
both.
he's changing himself for me. So we don't really eat out much. In fact, last time I remember eating out was when I went traveling. And my husband also helps a lot with cooking, and he's very good with making protein based dishes. So things with beans, chickpeas, eggs, chicken. And so I get the benefit of that. Yeah, so that's about me. I did want to talk about something really interesting, which maybe a lot of folks don't know, that you have a very well loved Instagram account on fitness, and you show a lot of your exercise habits. I'm just curious, like when did you start, and what made you start it?
Yeah, I started my Instagram account around 7 years back, and that was the rise of workout programs. So I started doing a program called Bikini or Beach Body Guide, now called Sweat. And the whole goal of this workout was to work out with a community, with a bunch of girlfriends or women or whoever your partner is. And then on Instagram, you post like a post workout selfie or some video, and you do a hashtag like sweat community or something, and you find people throughout the world who is doing the same program. So it's like, how do you connect with like-minded people? And that was like, now Instagram is what it is. Like 7 years back, all of this was still on the rise. So that's the reason I started. And I did connect with like beautiful people, like-minded people, and we kept each other motivated. And that really helped me stay on track. And even till this date, I exercise almost every single day. And even now, I don't need to post it anymore because I'm so disciplined anyway. But I still post it. And one of the reasons I still post it is kind of my way of paying it forward, because there's so many women who have like inspired me by posting their post workout selfie or videos. To put yourself out there on social media takes a lot. I mean, we all know people are not always kind, but even if you inspire one person to go get the workout in, that helps. Plus, me documenting my journey helps me go back and see that I worked out even when I was pregnant, throughout my pregnancy, even when I was 9 month pregnant. And now when I sit here, it's like, do I really have to do it? And I go back and look, it's like, I did it when, I had a newborn. I did it when I was pregnant. So there's no reason for me to not do like a 15 or 20 minutes workout. So it's not only inspiring others, but inspiring or keeping myself motivated. It's really not for likes or comments. I barely go and check if I have any, this traction on it, but it is just to help somebody who needs a little bit of motivation. So that was my goal with the whole account.
Kudos to you. I really enjoy looking at, and you know what, folks have even, if you have folks who know me and you and have seen your Instagram run, they have come to me and they have said how motivated and inspired they are by you. And so kudos to you for continuing, because continuing something and day after day after day posting something is so hard, because you really are exercising. And I've been to your home and I see you every day exercising and figuring a way out to add variety to your routine. And on top of that, you take the time to actually also make a recording and post it and all of that. So it's amazing. It takes a lot of hard work and also courage, because like you said,
Yeah.
online bullying is a thing. So thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
sorry,
What
go
is
ahead.
your form of movement? Like what brings you joy?
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, I have been so inspired seeing your Instagram account, but I don't think I've translated that inspiration into anything much, because
Oh my God. You're being truthful. Okay, all right.
for me, I am very conscious of the importance of movement. Like I said, early in my teens, I became very conscious of health. So in those days, I remember I didn't know much better. So I used to skip rope, which I think is still a good exercise, and I used to do some sort of aerobics. And I think, some of Cindy Crawford or someone had taken out their video. And when I got my hands on it, I used to try to follow some of that. But I don't remember. I think I'm messing up the years. What actually went wrong for me was when I went to college, I stopped exercising because I was in engineering. I mean, there is no excuse. I just was so
It's
focused
not a
on
priority.
it was
It
not
was
a priority.
yeah.
Yeah. So I stopped exercising and I would sit for hours studying or whatever. And I feel like my body hated that. And I remember that was where my stomach cramps or me not feeling good really started. I feel like that was the genesis of it. And that followed me for pretty much most of my life. And it is so sad because I never recognized why it's happening. It took me to reach my late 30s to realize that it is a lack of movement that's causing this. So it's not like I wasn't moving, but once you have a problem in your body, it follows you if you are not very proactive about it. And so for me, the game changer was the realization that I need to be very, very careful with my diet and my movement. So now I eat a lot of vegetables. And I have consistent movement in my life. What doesn't work for me is intense exercise. I've tried it. I got inspired by you. I got all the weights. Like I would be like half an hour weightlifting or intense aerobics. I just don't feel good. And my body also, I pretty much fall sick. And so I realized like I have to do low intensity exercise, but very regularly. So I try never to miss a day of exercise, but I will do low intensity. And I incorporate different things. So and that is just because that's what I like. I don't think it has any benefit or not. So I might do dancing for 6 months and I might do Pilates for another, and then I might do yoga. You never know. My mood changes. And right now, what I do is I start my day before eating anything. I start my day with at least 20 to 30 minutes of stretching, yoga, and dance. And I really enjoy it. It makes me very happy, fills me with energy before my workday starts. And it's been going good for me, and this is something that I can consistently do, which I think is more important than anything. One thing I will add is that I recognize, even if I were to get up in the morning and do my exercise, if for the rest of the day I were just sitting, it's still going to play havoc with my body. So I tried not to sit for too long. And that's going to sound weird, but especially for us, working folks, because you have to sit in the office and sit in the meetings. But I kind of make myself conscious, like, if I'm in a meeting for 1 hour sitting, I will stand up for the next hour for the next meeting, or I will walk around for 5 minutes before if I have to sit down again. And that way I am not constantly sitting for more than an hour. Because and I make this mistake often, if I sit for 2 or 3 hours, I'm gonna feel the pain later. So yeah, for me, movement is key, whatever that form might be.
And you are so good at dancing. Like once we have a website up, we should certainly post some of your dancing videos. I know you don't give yourself credit, but it's so natural for you. I mean, the joy is visible on your face when you dance. Like it's true expression of movement, right? And that is why different things is a good fit for others. And that is why we have so many different kind of workouts. Like this Pilates, there is a weightlifting, because I don't enjoy Pilates. I don't enjoy those low impact. It just doesn't sit well with me. And that is why, like in my early 20s, I did not know any better. So I just did cardio, like running. I was not introduced to weight training. But then as I started doing the sweat workouts, which has a mix of strength workouts, weight training, I got really motivated, and I start seeing those little muscle definition, which becomes like addictive, because once you see a tiny, teeny bit of muscle here, and you're like, oh my God, what else can my body do? And that is addictive. And that is what makes me do things, not for others, not that anybody's looking at my muscles. Unless I flex, nobody will even know that exists.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just for you. It's like, wow, look at what my body can do. And that is so empowering that I got into strength training, and I have like a whole tiny home gym thing where I buy a couple of free weights and I have a treadmill, and I absolutely love doing that. And then I love yoga with Adriene. Like I think Adriene is doing God's work by putting all these yoga videos on YouTube. So at least once or twice a week, I try to do the yoga. Of late, I've started doing a lot of mobility, because as I'm getting older, uh, I just feel that mobility. Like there was a time when I wouldn't do stretching and I could still work out, and I would just be fine. And now if I don't spend like 10-15 minutes stretching before I lift a single weight, I know my back is going to hurt, my knee is going to hurt, like how the body changes. So I'm mindful of that. And then off late, I've started doing what I call a mental health walk after
Mhm.
lunch, because obviously, as you know, we both have like desk jobs, and we both like sit on a desk for such a long amount of time. I just feel that walking after lunch really helps me with managing my glucose level too. So I just do those walk, getting out of the house while I still can. In Texas, I try to go out for a walk for 15 minutes, and it has been like life changing for me. So
Agreed. I forgot to mention, I do the same thing. Like
yeah.
after my dinner, I have to take a walk for the same reason. It helps monitor your glucose, and I kind of feel better. And that's how I measure myself. If I'm feeling better, then I must be better. And walking makes me feel better. So that's one of the things that I do as well. Okay, because we've been talking a lot, I thought let's do some really like quick question and answers. So I'm gonna start with: have you had any wake up calls when it comes to health?
All right. Gestational diabetes for me, which few women get when they are pregnant, it's not very prevalent, but unfortunately, both of us did get gestational diabetes. That was kind of a first wake up call for me, because before that, I would drink so many sugary drinks, and I would have like all the milkshake with ice cream in it, and I just had no clue what that was doing to my body. And then when I had diabetes, I started reading labels. I started understanding what macros mean, what 25 grams of sugar does to your body, or 50 grams. So that was like a very good experience for me. Like I know it was not great that I had it, but it really helped me understand nutrition that was life changing. So that's
So
one
true.
thing.
Sugar, same thing. It took me a while. I mean, took me a while since having gestation diabetes to actually be able to really get how much to avoid sugar, because honestly, like it's not clear when you see, the marketing or the media hype, like is sugar really the culprit? But I do honestly think the sugary drinks and eating a lot of sugar based food is not great. I mean, you cannot avoid sugar. You should ideally have some sort of carbs. But for me, yes, cutting down a bit on my sugar, and then movement is key, right? For me, like as long as I avoid things that my gut doesn't like, and in my case, it's typically most of the dairy and some gluten, and I eat small portion sizes, I feel fine. And that's the learning experience for me. Like, make sure don't overdo anything. Don't eat too much sugar. Don't eat too much fried food. Don't eat too much gluten, and then I'll be fine. All right. Second question: how do you approach stress and its impact on health?
Stress is a sensitive topic. It's still a work in progress for me. Stress whenever I get stressed, I can see it impacting my whole life. It's like my skin is breaking up, my period is just irregular, and my gut has issues. Like, I would say that I usually never have gut issues, but when I'm stressed, it's like all of a sudden I have belly aches, cramps, which never happens. So that's the effect stress has on me. And off late, I am learning how to manage it. Again, as I said, it's a work in progress, but my husband gifted me like the Calm app subscription. Calm is like a meditation app. And every single day, without fail, one thing I do is I do a 10-minute guided meditation. And that really helps calm my like overactive mind. That is really helpful. And one thing that I'll mention in these guided meditation, if somebody wants to try it, it's very hard to sit still for like 10 minutes. But think about guided meditation is like whenever I start breathing in, out, whatever it is, like there are thoughts of I need to check my email, check my Slack, things come in your mind. And the way guided meditation is the one that I follow, there's a lady who says, whenever a thought comes in your mind, be kind to yourself and say thank you, but not now. And that's how you put away those thoughts that come in. It's so nice to tell yourself, oh, thank you for reminding me to check my Slack, but not right now. I need to focus on my breathing. Go away. But yeah, that's with me. How about you?
Yeah, no, this is great. I mean, I don't see how any one of us can avoid stress, but how do we manage it and how do we manage our own reactions to it is important. So for me, it's really working on my self-talk and my self-awareness. And for me, like I can totally tell you, like most of my health issues might be related to me not doing that self-talk. So I think, like for me, late 30s, I think especially 40 is when I was determined to figure a way out. And that's where I started reading a lot of different books, and I started reading a lot of books and listening to a lot of wisdom from Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a Buddhist monk. And I really appreciated the way he taught about mindfulness and really thinking about connectedness and really being kind to not only others but yourself. And that was key for me. Like, how can I be kind to myself? How can I not push myself unnecessarily, necessarily or honestly? If my body and my mind is not willing to do it, can I give myself a breather? And that's how I try to calm myself. So for me, it's like, this is a hectic lifestyle. The work that we do is super hectic, but how can I step back and just recognize that my body needs rest? And then again, that comes a lot from mindfulness. I am one of those hyperactive mind people because I'm an introvert, so constantly thinking about something, it's hard for me to not think. And so to your point, when I sit down to do something, like when I'm sitting down to eat a great meal, instead of thinking about something else, I try to appreciate the meal. Similarly, like I like watching birds, and sometimes while watching birds, I'll forget I'm watching birds and I'll start thinking about a meeting. And I have to like go back and say, look at this pretty bird, like look at the bird. Don't think about the meeting. So those are some ways I try to incorporate calmness in my day.
Like being present, that's so
Yes,
hard.
very
It's
hard.
so hard to be present. My God, yeah, that's a skill I'm still learning.
It's very hard. I just love learning more and more about it. Okay, one of the other questions I have is, what's something you've learned about your body in your 30s and 40s? In your case, your 30s.
um, Yeah, I think feedback. I'm a creature of habit. I mean, I'm not very intuitive by nature. I love feedback a lot. Even in my job, like as a product manager, all I do is collect feedback from stakeholders, and that kind of seeps in my personal life. And some of you might have seen, if you are on YouTube or Spotify, you can see I'm showing my glucose monitor. And that is something I started wearing like 6 or 7 months back after my annual, when I my blood sugar was like borderline. They didn't declare me pre-diabetic, but I'm pretty sure I'm headed that way. So this helps me track how I'm doing with different foods. So, for example, like there's certain food habits that I've formed. Eating apple without peanut butter spikes my blood sugar because I need to have a good combination. Even if apple doesn't have processed sugar, it's still sugar. And that I need to combine that with some kind of a protein. So
Mhm.
that kind of feedback really helps me feel better. And then I wear this Aura ring that tracks my sleep, and that tracks if there is any symptoms coming up, and if how my heart rate is doing. So I'm big into feedback nowadays, like in my 30s, and that really helps me have a control, because intuition is not natural to me the way it is for you. Like, you are very intuitive. You can listen to your body very well. Somehow I don't know why. I hope I get better, but I'm very much dependent on data, and that's kind of not a great thing about me, because being so dependent on data isn't great, because sometimes they are not always telling you the truth. But right now in my life, I'm using a lot of these feedback mechanism, and I feel like I have a control. So far so good. What about you?
Yeah, yeah. No, I would say, like, data is great. Data is great. And, for me, the intuition came from years of having made a lot of mistakes, a lot of tracking and recognizing based on the tracking of what works and doesn't work. So I am able to come to this place only because I've done all the data tracking in the past. So I wasn't like scientific with it, but I did my own way of data tracking. And I think for me, it comes down to what Papa always tells us, right? Whenever we talk to him, which is health is the most important thing.
Mhm.
And for me, the most important thing in my 40s, particularly, is recognizing what a gift we all have. Like, health is a gift. And, as much as we can, we should try to maintain it. We should try to preserve it and work towards healthier body and mind over the years. And aging is not something that should give us the reason to stop caring. And so that was like an interesting thing that I learned in my 40s. And to your point, like, I don't think you should worry so much that you are data backed. Data is good. Combining data with listening to the body would be even better. But like you said, you'll get there once you have data to modulate how you react and stuff. I wonder who's more disciplined with health.
Uh, I
I can
think
I can answer. I
well,
can answer that question.
well, with workout, it's me. With health, like, we both are pretty disciplined, I would say. Like, we have, no, okay, go ahead. I mean, I, I am very disciplined with my workouts. I'm big into planning. Like, so my husband often says, I leave no room for being spontaneous. But yeah, I mean, I would consider myself disciplined. What about you?
Yeah, you are very disciplined. I was just going to say, I agree with you. You are very disciplined with your exercise. With food, you are disciplined because you track, right? So you are forced to be disciplined. In my case, I'm not disciplined with exercise per se. Like, it's not like I will follow a routine and this specific time. I will move, and I will move when I can move, but I will move, and that's how I discipline myself. With food, I'm slightly more disciplined because otherwise my body just reacts negatively. So I typically try not to eat things that I know about, and when I do, oh my gosh, I suffer so bad. So I try not to. And also, like, to your point, my intuition, I don't know if it works or not, and in future probably it's not gonna, especially as you get older. So for example, I hardly take anything extra in terms of supplements, and I take typical supplements like calcium and vitamin D, and that's just about it. And I recognize that as I'm getting older, getting closer to perimenopause, I should likely take some other supplements. But that's what I like. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm eating all the right foods, I'm doing all the right things, so maybe I don't need supplement. But I know you have a very different point of view.
I always joke that I single-handedly support America's supplement business. Because I take, and I'm not going to name all of them because I don't want to influence anybody, but I do take a lot of supplements. I don't know if it helps or not, or it's just, what's that term called? Placebo? What
Placebo.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't harm my body, but
Yeah.
I spend a lot of money on it. And yeah, but that's the way I do it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I mean, I think it's the basic difference between you and me and our approach to health, and it seems to work for both of us, which is I keep things very open-ended and based on how I'm feeling in the given moment. And the way I try to balance my lack of details or data is that I will go for yearly checkups. I will try to get my, blood work done, and I will try to keep up with my whatever supplements I take. But it's just like I do feel like I am just delaying what has to inevitably happen,
Yeah.
right? I will have to be more careful, and I will have to probably track things more assiduously.
Yeah.
But do you think and I'm saying this as nicely and kindly, I don't mean to judge or whatever, but do you think you're obsessed with data in any way?
Oh, definitely. I have a data. I mean, I'm not even shy to say it. I would love to say it lovingly, but I do have a data problem. Like I do collect a lot of data. I try to analyze it. I convince people to track data. I have convinced you so many times to get Aura Ring and do all of
Doesn't
that.
work.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I've failed miserably, but yeah, I do collect a lot of data, and at this point, it is not. And the reason I'm wearing glucose, I got a lot of question. Why are you wearing it? Have you been like? I Do you have type 2? So far, no, but I know we both have markers for it,
Yeah.
right? We have a family history of diabetes, and we both know that we had gestational diabetes that puts us in a higher risk of getting it. So I'm collecting all this data and trying to do my best, not because I not to avoid it from happening, because that's inevitable. It's basically just delaying it. I don't want to get it when I'm 40. Can I delay it till 50? I don't know, too ambitious. Maybe I can delay it till I'm 60. So that is the reason why I'm trying to understand my body a little bit more with data. And like the Aura Ring helps me track sleep. One thing that you asked me, what has changed in 30s that I didn't mention, was sleep. Like
Mhm.
I prioritize sleep over anything. Like I'm watching a movie with my husband and I'm like, oh, tick, tick, 11 o'clock. Over the weekend, it's 11 o'clock. Over the weekdays, it's like 10, 10:30. I have to be in bed. I have to have 7 hours of sleep or more. And I track it with my Aura Ring, and I can connect it with how good or bad my day goes.
Mm.
So I can connect it like if I haven't slept well, and the Aura Ring will tell you like restfulness throughout the night, REM, and all of that. And again, it might be placebo because I'm trying to connect the dots, but I
Yeah.
kind of get a gist that I had a stressful day, or if I didn't feel very good that day, it all ties back to poor sleep.
And
So
you are so good. I mean, you are so good. I know now you're tracking with your Aura Ring, but I remember this every time I think about, when you come to our house, if you are tired, you will go to sleep. If you're not feeling well, you will go to sleep. You
yeah.
have a sleep time and you will go to sleep at that time. And that discipline is critical. And that's amount of self-care is critical because
Mhm.
that's where I like discipline. I mean, I'm trying to get better. Like if I'm tired, I'll go sleep. But often at night, if I'm working, like if I get interested in a project, I can stay up late, and that's terrible because you have to still wake up early in the morning next day, and then your body suffers because you've not got full sleep. So that is something that you do so well, and I really need to build myself on. Like I'm telling myself, dude, you're getting older. You really need to get your sleep, and so I'm trying to do that for myself. But at the end of
I
the
also
day,
do it because I also have a small kid. Like you can still do it because you don't have to take care of a hyperactive 6-year-old right now.
right?
And if I don't sleep, I'm so tired, I snap at him. Like I really see myself being a bad
Yeah.
mom if I don't get, and I am angry at my husband. I just have a poor day because it just affects your everything that you do, your energy level. And I'm rude to him. I'm not kind to him. And that's the realization that it's all connected to me not being fully rested has also help me make that
Yeah.
decision.
Definitely, I think sleep, movement, and obviously, not overdoing any specific diet is, I think, like, at least for me, I realize is the key to good health. But ultimately, health and wellness is a pretty personal journey, and it's all about like what I can conclude from based on our conversation, which by the way was extremely illuminating because I didn't know so many things about you and your diet habits, is that we all just do what works for us, and that's the best way to approach it. It has to be personal. It cannot be like one method or one diet dictates all. And I know, like, in your case, you have this great community that you've also built and that you're helping and also getting help by,
Yeah.
through Instagram.
Yeah. So, I
Yeah.
mean, people, I hope you know who you are if you're listening. I have connected to so many incredible people through Instagram. So I'm always grateful to know, like, even if it's like just virtual, but to know somebody's out there and they support you, it's a blessing. That's all I'll say. But yeah, I think that's exciting part of our journey. Like with every age, it's something new. And that's a privilege of being alive, right? I mean, I know with especially with women, there are hormones and perimenopausal and menopause and whatever. It's not easy, but that is what I feel like keeps life exciting. We can take care of each other, we can take care of our health. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think one choice at
absolutely.
a time.
Yeah, yeah, sisterhood. Like that's what we learn from each other, especially as women, and especially as we mature, like right from teenage and childhood all the way up to, menopausal and after. So many changes go on in a woman's body. And so once one method or one static approach cannot possibly work. And so how do we all grow and learn from each other is what I'm hoping we were able to share as well. Um, anything you wanted to add? Yeah.
Oh, I think we covered most of the thing. It was so fun just talking about our journey and getting our story out there. I think that's a goal of a podcast, right? Like everybody has a story to tell, and we are telling our story. And in the meantime, hopefully, we either inspire somebody or start a conversation for somebody. So thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed listening to our podcast, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a rating, give us some feedback. If you want us to cover a specific topic, please let us know. And
Yeah.
thank you for spending time with us.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much. And also, just a quick plug, we also started this on YouTube. So in case you enjoy watching instead of listening, we're also there on YouTube, and we're both even started thinking about creating a website in case that helps with blog format. And so hopefully at some point we will have that up. But thank you again for listening. Bye.
Bye.